Any tips on how to get a mini Kelly from the H boutique? That is tough. I think the mini Kelly has definitely become one of the, if not the most difficult bags to get from Hermes at this point. Hello my friends, it's time for another luxury Q&A answering some of your mainly Hermes dilemmas. I asked you this past week on my Instagram to send me any Hermes related questions and myth that you'd like to hear my 2 cents on, and as always you guys came through with some of the most incredibly insightful questions. So if you send me one, just know that I appreciate you. And if you'd like to participate in future Q&As, make sure that you follow me on Instagram. But let's cut to the chase because I think we have nearly 100 questions to touch on. So if you'd like to hear my thoughts on topics such as scoring a bag as rare as a mini Kelly from Hermes, moving stores, what that process is going to look like, and so much more, then please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and keep on watching. So the reason I never really wear blazers in my videos is because it's so difficult to sit up straight in this chair, and I find that the shoulders slowly start creeping up. So if I start looking like the hunchback of Notre Dame throughout this video, you have to forgive my appearance, but I wanted to change things up and that's why I'm wearing a blazer. But it's not the easiest chair to sit in properly. But anyway, let's get into some of your questions, and as I said, we have a lot to go through, so I think I'm just going to start picking random questions and we'll see what we find. But let's start straight here. Thoughts on the Odyssey Eau Silver flask? Would you buy it? So this was a rather recent launch from Hermes. I think this piece launched for fall winter 2021-2022 in the home collection of Hermes. And it's this solid silver flask that I believe was inspired by flasks that soldiers used to carry around. It's all made of silver. It's in this really high shine, polished finish with one really simple sort of equestrian inspired strap. I think this flask is around 5,400 euros, so it's definitely up there in price. It's definitely not the most expensive flask I've ever seen, because if you've been with me for a while, you may remember that I actually purchased the Chanel flask when it first launched, which I quickly realized that it was a ridiculous purchase, so I quickly got rid of it. But yeah, I'm not a rookie to this world of overpriced designer flasks, but I don't think I would ever buy the Hermes one just because it has an attached leather band to it, which means that you probably wouldn't be able to put it in the dishwasher. It's made of solid silver, so over time I assume it would oxidize, and it's also in this incredibly high shine polished finish, which means that you would scratch it up in a heartbeat and it wouldn't look like something that you bought for 400 euros, more like something that you bought from a flea market, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you appreciate that look, you might like this, but for me, $5,400 for a flask that looks like this, I just don't think so. Maybe if it came with a leather strap that you could add onto it and make it into a crossbody bag, or maybe if it came with a little basket that you could fit some cards into, maybe your phone, and then the flask, it would sound like a better investment. But just for what it is, I understand that it's solid silver, but it's not something that I would spend the money on, or I would really recommend for anyone to spend their money on it. Is it possible to score any Hermes bags if I'm traveling to Europe, the US, China, or Hong Kong? Great question, but unfortunately I cannot give you a direct answer. It really all depends. There used to be this rumor going around out there that if you fly to Europe, if you live in the States, or if you live in Asia, it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're in Europe, you can walk into an Hermes boutique and be offered a bag on the spot, which is just not the case. I don't think that was really ever the case, even back when Hermes bags were easier to come by. Do you know that there was a point in time when you could walk into an Hermes boutique and if they had a bag in stock, you could actually ask for it and they were able to sell it to you? But that certainly hasn't been the case for at least 15 years at this point. So Yes, unfortunately, I cannot guarantee that you walk into any one of these boutiques and you will be offered a bag. The only advantage of buying Hermes in Europe is really the price, because Hermes tends to be a lot less expensive in Europe than it is anywhere else, especially when it comes to their leather creations. Just because Hermes is a French company and their leather goods are produced in France, so I assume they have less costs to build into the price than once the pieces have been shipped to the US or to Asia. So, yes, that is a huge advantage, but just walking into a store, I cannot guarantee that you'll be offered a bag. The chances of that happening are really, really low at this point. It has happened to me once in the US in the past 10 years of me buying Hermes actively. So, it's quite hard to tell. The only store that you can kind of expect to be offered something, and it's not guaranteed that you'll be offered a Birkin, a Kelly, a Constance, or even a bag remotely similar to what you're looking for, is the mothership in Paris, where you have to apply for an appointment. If you get appointed an appointment, you get to go and you get to express what it is that you are looking for, but it's by no means guaranteed that you will walk out with the bag of your dreams, so just keep that in mind. Build a relationship with whichever store is closest to you or whichever store you click with, and I think that is definitely the best way of getting your hands on your dream bag. It might not be the fastest way of doing so, but if you want to be guaranteed a bag at the end of the day, I think that is the best way of approaching it. How hard is it to get a mini Lindy or a Constance DPM? A Constance DPM, I believe by Constance DPM you're referring to the micro Constance, the Constance 14, which I really don't see too much of these days. I believe it still exists, and I did see it at one point not that long ago I believe I saw it in shiny gator, which more often than not, the micro constances will be around in exotic skins, so either shiny or matte gator, but they do come in regular skins. But I really don't see too much of them these days. If you're looking for a really, really tiny Constance, which the Constance DPM or the micro Constance, Constance 14, is incredibly small, it's pretty much a glorified card holder. And if that's the kind of shape that you're interested in, maybe check out the Constance Slim, which I do have an in-depth review on. And I also share how you can really easily turn it into a crossbody bag. That might be easier to come by. And then when it comes to the mini Lindy, I am probably not the best person to ask because you couldn't pay me to get a Lindy in any shape or form. But to be honest, I really don't see too much of the mini Lindy either. It's definitely around, and I assume it would be a lot easier to get than a Constance DPM or a mini Kelly. Although it really comes down to just luck. If your store happens to have it, you might get it immediately, but if they really don't get it, then there is not much you can do about it. All I'm going to say is that the Constance DPM is going to be a tough find. The mini Lindy is out there, you just really have to be at the right place at the right time and have a pretty good relationship with your home store. I'm a little afraid to go to the store. Any advice? Yes, don't be nervous. You have absolutely no reason to be nervous about going to any one of the luxury stores these days. I feel like a lot of luxury brands, including Hermes, gets a lot of hype and this mystery surrounding it. And actually, one of the reasons I started my channel and I talk about these things online is because I wanted to demystify Hermes. It's not this hidden world that's the hidden secret of the rich and famous. That is far from the truth. You will not be treated like you see it in movies like Pretty Woman. At least I really hope so. That's usually not the case. So don't be nervous, and if that helps, maybe go with a friend. Go with someone who has a similar interest to you so it feels a little bit less intimidating than you just walking into the store by yourself. And definitely do a ton of research online, so definitely check out the Hermes website. Maybe watch some of my videos if you find them helpful, so you won't be quite as overwhelmed when you walk into a boutique because you had already seen the pieces. You kind of have an idea for what to expect. And if you live in a country where you have to make an appointment to go into Hermes, I think that might be even better because you'll be immediately given one-on-one attention that I hope will help you to break the ice. But yeah, I have noted that you're going to have the best time. Just do your research so you'll be confident with your knowledge. You're not going in not knowing what to expect, but you have an idea and a little bit of perhaps a conversation starter if you have to engage with someone in a conversation about the brand and what you're truly looking for. Any man wallet recommended? Yes, pretty much anything that you see on the Hermes website. I really don't think that gender matters at this point. Whatever you see on the Hermes website that you like, go for it. It doesn't matter whether it was designed for men or for women. I think gender is dead at this point when it comes to fashion. But these are some of the recommendations that I would have for anyone asking. I do love the Burn wallet, the compact wallet, especially if you enjoy smaller bags because it's a pretty streamlined design, so I find it pretty easy to slip it in and out of smaller bags. If you're looking for something more compact, that is a great design. I do still love my Kelly pocket. It's probably my most favorite design from Hermes, although I have to be honest, I haven't really reached for mine recently, just because I have been using my Constance 18 almost on a daily basis, and it's not the easiest piece to sort of put into smaller bags just because it has the Kelly closure, which can be a little bit tricky. But if you have larger bags, the Kelly pocket will get you a ton of bang for your buck. The Kelly wallet I also love. It's probably one of the most multifaceted pieces from Hermes because you can use it as a clutch bag, as a handbag, as a shoulder bag, or just as a wallet inside of other bags. And it won't look strange in any of those ways. You know, you have those wallets that you can turn into a bag if you really want to, but it won't look like a bag. It will just look like a wallet that you just try to DIY into a bag, and it's pretty obvious. I don't find that to be the case with the Kelly wallet. I think it looks spectacular no matter how you carry it. So yeah, Kelly pocket, Kelly wallet, Burn. You could also try the Calvi if you're looking for something a little bit more simple. It doesn't get any more simple than the Calvi. Any tips on how to get a mini Kelly from the Age Boutique? That is tough. I think the mini Kelly has definitely become one of the, if not the most difficult bags to get from Hermes at this point. I really don't think that they make too many of them, and the ones that they make, there are lines and lines and lines of people waiting for them. So I would say that definitely be loyal to your boutique. You must have a really good rapport with your store if you would like to be considered for a mini Kelly. Explore as much of Hermes as you would like and as you're interested in, and just be patient. I really think that that's the trick to Hermes. You have to be patient. It really doesn't matter how long you have shopped with the brand and how loyal you are if they really just don't get bags in, which I feel like sometimes is the case. Not always, but you have to keep that in mind that they don't have a ton of stock at all times. So I would say just have a great relationship with Hermes. Express your interest as soon as you can. Ask your home store how often they get mini Kellys and how long you should expect to wait. But I think patience goes a really long way when it comes to anything Hermes, but especially a bag as popular as a mini Kelly. I do think it is worth the wait, but it is going to be quite a long wait. Would you recommend purchasing an Hermes Ashdunk ring, small model? Love your videos. Thank you, and thank you so much for watching. Yes, I would 1000% recommend the Ashdunk ring. I love mine. I think I've had mine for just about a year at this point, maybe just under a year, and I have already got a ton of use out of it because it's an easy, simple ring. You can either wear it on its own, it doesn't look lonely and just too thin to wear it on its own. It's substantial enough, but it's also a great piece to style and stack with other pieces because it has even edges, which means that it's going to look incredible no matter what you stack it with. So I think you get quite a bit of bling for the money. It's a substantial wide band, and if you're looking to stack it with already existing pieces in your collection, like some simple eternity bands, it's a great piece to go for. So overall, I think the Ashdunk ring, whether you go for rose gold or white gold, would be just an amazing piece to have in your collection. Pros and cons of each Hermes leather. Wow, how much time do we have? I mean, every single leather from Hermes has a pro and a con to it. It just really depends on what you're looking for. I tend to prefer my bags to be a little bit less finicky. I like the bags that I buy to be just reliable. I don't want to worry about how I carry them, how much moisture they're exposed to if I get stuck in the rain. Obviously, I'm not going to be walking around in a thunderstorm with my bags, but let's say if a drop of rain falls on my bags, I don't want that to be the end of the world and be left with a huge watermark on my bags. So I tend to prefer Greenskins, Togo, and Epsom for my everyday bags, just because I find them to be the most durable. But if color saturation is more important for you, Chef is a great leather to go for. Evergreen is incredibly soft and buttery, so is Evercolor. Exotic skins look beautiful, but those have a ton of cons. They are some of the most delicate skins out there, so they are definitely not made for everyday use. But it doesn't matter what you buy from Hermes, nothing is going to be 100% indestructible. Just keep that in mind. But personally, when it comes to, let's put it this way, when you're looking for more structured bag, if you're looking at more structured bags, so let's say celly structures, I would definitely go for Epsom. And then if you're looking for bags that are more slouchy and soft and you want them to feel just a little bit more relaxed, go for softer skins like Evergreen, Evercolor, or Togo, because that I feel like is the best compromise. Do you recommend purchasing an additional strap for the Kelly? Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to spice up your Kelly with a funky, playful strap, or are you having issues with the length of the strap? Because thankfully there are solutions for both. Hermes does create some really playful and colorful straps if you'd like to add something to your Kelly bags, which I am personally not the biggest fan of. I think those straps tend to look much better on bags like the 2424 or the Evelyn bags that are a little bit more simplistic. But when it comes to the Kelly, I think they look best with the strap that they come with. But if you find that the strap is too short for you, which the original strap that comes with all Kelly bags is going to be 85 centimeters. If you find it to be too short for you to style it crossbody, which I think would be the case for most people, I mean, I guess it all depends on how tall you are, your build, and your preference with how high you want your bag to be. But I do think that if you're above 5'7", 5'8", you will want a longer strap. Thankfully, you can order custom straps from Hermes, but it is something that is going to cost you quite a few $100s depending on the leather of your bag. So you have to take your bag into Hermes with a proof of purchase, or just take the bag itself in and they can order the matching strap for you. It's going to take quite a while, and they start at around a few $100s, as I said, and they go up to being $3, $4, $5, $6,000 if they are made of more expensive skins, just because you need such a big chunk of leather. So yeah, it's absolutely something that you can do. Again, it just comes down to what you prefer. When it comes to more colorful straps, they are not my cup of tea, but if you're having trouble with styling your bag in a comfortable fashion, just know that you can absolutely order different lengths of straps from Hermes, which if you definitely want a bag with a longer strap, you might want to order a special order bag, because if you're ordering a special order bag with a longer strap, you don't have to pay any extra for the strap. But if you're ordering the strap after you have already received your Kelly, it's something that you will be responsible paying for. How did you manage to maintain your age history when moving town/country, which is a great question. And one thing that you have to know about your Hermes profile and your purchase history.